We're at the Kowalsky Gallery in London to see mashups curated by Stuart Semple. The subtitle for the show is Post-Pop Fragments and Détournements. Let's see what that means.
There are a number of artists that I've admired from a distance for a long time, who I thought, in a way, had certain aspects to their practice that maybe overlapped. And I was quite interested to bring a group of quite disparate people together and see what they were doing. I've always been obsessed with mass culture and popular culture and how it's been recorded and utilised by artists. And what I was quite interested in is to see sort of how my generation made sense of those things, because a lot of the art I was looking at, you know, was sort of 20, 30 years old. A lot of the pop artists, although some of them are still alive, you know, they had a very different perspective, which was in a lot of ways quite blank or quite distancing or very celebratory, but not as sort of critical as some of the artists.
What I was thinking about while I was working on it is this girl in particular. She looks like a friend of mine that died a couple of years ago, and that was sort of a watershed moment, and that was how I drew the connection, and that was the sort of narrative that I developed while I was working on it. But my work has always been sort of open to an interpretation, you know, in the sort of Duchampian sense, where the viewer kind of brings their own interpretations. I just have my own narratives that I work with that help me kind of get through.
Piers' work has this quality of not resembling nature because of its colours, but also he's dealing in a very similar way to me and Nathan and Nicky, in the way he's dealing with fragments that he's found. He's chopping stuff up, he's recombining it, he's making new compositions, he's composing things. That's exactly the same process as what we're doing. He's doing it with paint itself rather than imagery. He's working in a very, very similar way. He's collecting all these fragments, these shards, and putting them back together to make a different kind of story. It's an abstract story. It's not something that's about mass or popular culture. But my point was, does a mashup have to be? It's a video piece by Adham Faramawy. Some of it he shot himself. Other pieces have found imagery specifically from YouTube. So it's a very direct remix, in a way, of culture. A process like this wouldn't be possible in the past, really, because of the costs involved. So, you know, there's no way it can't be a comment on the sort of democratisation of digital media. The fact that he can make this relatively inexpensively is something that he's playing with in the work. The multiplicity of meaning, that there can be lots of meanings, that everyone can be right, you know, that's okay. Adham doesn't believe that there's one hard or fast rule for anything. So he makes very liquid pieces of video that take us through a whole different sort of remit of experience. My studio in the morning is a very quiet painting space, and at night, and during the day, it runs like a business. And there's a whole heap of different people who are employed to do different things. And that's something that I wanted to do straight away, as soon as I could afford to, was to find a way to support other people's creativity, and also to give people the freedom to explore their own sort of skills and talents.